Well, I'm probably a day late and $1 short to the Overland program, but Project Panzergonia coming out. People, so big Touareg nerd, big TDI nerd. This car, original owner, known it since it was almost new, finally decided to sell it. So this Touareg's 2010 3-liter TDI, like 94,000 miles on it. She's maintained it with us here at Panzer. Super excited to get started on this. Wanted another Touareg super bad. I love the way they drive, and this one's epic. So watch us do some maintenance and get it ready. So first thing first, some engine flush. Pretty simple procedure here. Take it off, snap ring, open the oil cap, and then pour it all over the engine bay. Get most of it in the motor. Put your oil cap back on. And then fire it up. Now, run it for 10 minutes. Going on 10 minutes. Then you come in here, shut it off, take the key out because I don't trust any car to not lock me inside. Now, got the engine cover off. Pop that sucker off. And while it was running, I was using a stethoscope and listening to some of these pulleys and the water pump and that guy, see if something's louder than normal, and I think one of them is. So we got 2 it could be in the tensioner, so we'll change those, put a new belt on it, fuel filter, pre-filter, diesel purge, after treatment. I don't remember what oil filter it takes. It's one of those. Tranny service, cabin air filter, all the diffs and the transfer case. The reason I'm using Motul is because that's apparently all the rating calls for. I'm sure the liquid moly stuff would probably be fine, if not better. And then we're going to decide if we try to do this or not today. All right, so we're double draining here. That don't look so bad. Diesel oil always looks terrible. Front diff, she's got a little bit of a, I don't even know where my flashlight is now. She's got a little bit of leak from the turbocharger. Kind of like the PCV era. You can kind of see that up there on that aluminum pipe leaking down and stuff, but that shouldn't be too bad. It's got all the emission stuff still in place. Jury's out if that's hanging around or not. I might hit a pothole and knock it all off. And then the struts look okay. That bump stop's a little worse for air, but that looks more like deterioration than damage. That one looks okay. And then otherwise pretty damn clean. Front bumper, little area's all nice. Those shocks don't look like they're leaking. Looks like it's got the big brake caliper on the front. All right. Okay, now my Uber Eats driver scared me. Got all the bolts out of this sucker. Gonna drop her down here. and show you guys what the inside of that looks like. Probably won't be too bad because the lady that owned this before was really good at taking care of this thing. Like really good. Which is nice because if you own any of this stuff, you know, it really matters about your previous owner experience. So I have this really old Craftsman screwdriver that I'm going to use for this. And you guys are going to watch me maybe get soaked by ATF. Or not. I don't know yet. We'll see. Or I don't have all the bolts out. That could be an answer too. Okay. So the trick here is to get this thing off without wearing all the remaining transmission fluid. Because even though you've drained it, there's still some in there. And she is got herself glued to the transmission. And my screwdriver, it's maybe not the right apparatus for this deal, but we're going to try it anyways. Oh, we're getting a little bit of movement there. Gotta just have to get this one to move or drop. Oh my god, come on. Oh, almost. I should go get a shorter screwdriver. Nope, there it is. Once you break the seal a little bit, you can kind of hear it starting to go. There it is. Definitely still got some fluid in her. See that? And like I said, this is what separates the men from the boys, is getting this out here without making a huge mess. Hey, considering how much is still in here, which is this much, which is quite a bit, that's about a 1 pig mat mess, which I still think is acceptable. This is PDQ. It's alright. Probably shouldn't have ate all of it because I'm going to end up fat one day, but we won't. We'll stop. So anyways, there's what the inside of this Volkswagen transmission looks. This is I think it's called like an Asani, I forget what the name of it is. But it's not the 8-speed, it's the 6-speed. So the magnets don't look super bad. The fluid's still really pretty clear. I gotta look at the history when we did this last, but it's still red, so it wasn't a mile ago. So next we're gonna get that filter off, put it all back together. Stay tuned. More fluid out of there, like so. Try not to make more of a mess than we already are, but that might be out the window at this point. Moving on towards a 3 pig mat job at this point. So, doesn't look that bad. The real important thing is that this O-ring comes off, because if you miss it and you double O-ring it, it'll shift funky, or worse, it'll have bigger problems. So next we're going to take the gasket that is semi-glued itself onto here, which is great. That means we're going to have to wire brush the old rubber off of there, and this will take a little bit longer than anticipated. So yeah, that's pretty cool. See if I can do this without making a mess. See, as I take it off, it's not really coming, and it's leaving chunks of other rubber there that I have to now remove. So it's all about making a good sealing surface. Luckily, it seems like it's only going to be in a few places from the feel of this. She is on there. Pretty damn good. Okay. Oh my lord. That's another pro tip. you do a lot of race car stuff, these little, let's see if I can get one out of here. Yeah. So these little guys, they kind of keep the gasket the right thickness and tension, but they are super good little spacers if you need spacers for stuff. And they're like 10 mils, so like, you know, if you're doing bolting panels in or something, they're steel. It's a good idea. Keep them. Keep them. So we'll get that out the way. That's all gonna go in this recycle bin. Now we gotta flip that over, let it drain some more. You know, check our sealing surface for anything. It looks super clean. Pretty clean. Yeah. You get dirty doing transmission jobs. That's why I wanted to do this first before I did any other stuff that you don't get super soaked doing. So now I'm gonna open our new pack of stuff. Maybe I won't. My ATFE hands don't make the best openers. So I'm gonna use some dikes. Which worked as desired. So this is a Mahali brand filter. And this is actually, I still think, made in Germany. So we're gonna get this open again. Really should have brought a razor knife over, but it's okay. So we're gonna unpack this, and it's got an O-ring on there already. And you can see it has like kind of a steel mesh material in there. And to be 100% honest, I don't know how good that is. But I've also never been taught anything about like what the filter element is made of. You gotta lube this O-ring. I usually will take a little bit of the oil from inside the transmission that's dripping all over you anyways. Lube the O-ring up. And then, importantly, is to make sure that it goes in there and doesn't pinch. Because I've done that before, is why I say that. So that like nice gratifying thud you just heard is it going in there as stated. So you want to get one of these holding it. The whole time it's just dripping ATF on you, which is really the most annoying part of this job. Because for somebody who likes working on cars, and that's why I've done my whole life, I don't particularly like getting super dirty or oily or greasy doing it. And that's why when you're working on race cars, it generally doesn't happen as much. But so anyways, that's a set of gloves oiled up. So we're gonna keep them on. And we're gonna go in here and we're gonna give us the old wipeout treatment. We're gonna get all the magnets off. And I might get lazy and go fire the parts washer up, stick this in there. Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna do. Because then I can move on to servicing the differentials. But you wanna get all that cleaned off and not make a mess. So we're gonna take these gloves off. Again, this is glove set number 2, which I'm keeping track of in my trash box over here. And then we're gonna go and tighten our filter up, because when I walk across the shop, turn on the other stuff, it's very likely I'll forget to do this portion. Also notice I started them by hand. I really like the Milwaukee product, by the way, because you can give it just the right amount of, maybe a little too much there, but you really can give it the right amount of torque, right? Like, because you can give it like a super slow. I can get it going real slow. I think I get 150. That's pretty slow. All right. So now we'll clean up again and catch you back up in a little bit. Okay, while the parts washer's running, time to do the diffs, transfers. So, time lapse action. Alright. See this, but this stuff came out pretty black. And we're gonna fill that up. Alrighty, tranny pan reinstalled. I gotta run it and top up the level. Got all the diffs done today. My transmission mess got to about a, what is it, a 6 pig mat level. So, you know, not terrible. So we got, I think, 5.5 quarts in it. So now I got to finish doing the rest of the stuff and run it till it's at operating temperature, and then probably put in another 3 quarts in that. So, all right. So, moving on to the engine bay. Running out of daylight, running out of time. I got to be somewhere. I got to leave the shop in an hour. So, got the oil filter loose. I'm actually gonna go get a small screwdriver to take the O-rings off. And by small screwdriver, I mean a pick. So, all right, got the oil drain bucket over there. We'll grab a rag to not make a huge mess with this thing. And like I told y'all, 1 of 2 oil filters on this. This is a CATA motor, 2010 Touareg, and she's got the super long one. Look how tall that girl is. So, doesn't look too bad. So diesel oil gets sooty ultra fast. So like, we could change the oil on this, drive it to my house, which is 10 miles from here, check the oil, and it will probably not look new anymore. Matter of fact, I can guarantee it won't look new anymore. So I'm just spreading the old slots, looking for anything weird. Generally on any of this new stuff, if you have stuff in your filter, it's bad days and you know it. But it doesn't smell too bad. It smells kind of sooty, which is the design of the BPF system. Kind of has that distinct diesel exhaust smell. But that's how they run these engines. They have a high pressure EGR system, comes right out of the turbocharger. You really can't see, but it comes right out here, comes to this manifold and goes in there. So they do that, you know, to cool down the combustion chamber, because that's what EGR does good. But the funny thing is, when you cool down a combustion chamber on a diesel, it makes a less complete burn, so you get more NOx emissions. So it's like a vicious cycle with EGR. That's why all these cars have NOx, CATs, and all that urea injection, is all to knock down the NOx level from the natural combustion of diesel plus the EGR, right? So that's the reason they do it. So putting a new filter in, which is actually made in Austria, and it has an O-ring, which I'm pretty sure goes down in there, and it won't. You gotta spin it till it drops, and that's it. And then we'll come in with our filter cap on top. Again, I just use old oil to lubricate the O-ring. And then make sure you don't strip your, make sure you don't strip this thing or get it caught, get any lines pinched in there, because you'd be surprised how fast 8 quarts of oil comes out of one of these engines. The answer is, about the time you start it up, come outside and notice oil's everywhere. So you don't want to do that. This has a torque spec on the front at 35 Newton meters. which I recommend you follow. This is probably my 500th Touareg TDI oil change I've done in my life of working on cars. I usually give it that much, and that's all she needs. All right, so next we're gonna move on to the fuel filter before we put oil in it. Notice how I leave the cap upside down, so I remember what I haven't done yet. So this is usually a pretty messy job because of, I'm also gonna put the top back on this because I do wanna suck some of this fluid out and start kind of changing that power steering fluid. But T30, don't wanna lose these. They're actually pretty damn tight too, so you take out all this stuff. Now for fuel filters on most every diesel, Volkswagen's gonna recommend 40, I think it's 20,000 miles on the high pressure cars and 40 on the low pressure cars. So like if you have an ALH or BEW or BRM, which is, you know, we're talking 07, 08 down stuff, you'll do them every 40, but it never hurts to change them early. I'm gonna roll the trash can over here, and then I'm going to use my old oil filter box with some rags in the bottom of it, and we're gonna pick it up and we're gonna put the bottom of it in that, and get her swapped out. So we'll get her up here. We're gonna take our O-ring off, throw that in the trash can. We're gonna take our big O-ring off, throw that in the little trash can. And this is the nice part about these, is they have this nice little, except they're always stiff to get off. And I don't want to make a huge mess. So we're gonna fight with this a little bit. There it is. There it is. And see, this diesel is like almost blue color. And it does have some sediment in the bottom of the tank. So I'm gonna grab the phone here in a minute and I'll show you guys what we're looking at. And then, obviously I don't throw that filter in the trash, but I just put it in there so I don't get diesel everywhere else. So let me grab the camera, show you guys what I'm talking about. So you can kind of see that sediment down there. So we're gonna suck all that out. Kind of looks like algae, maybe a little bit of metal, but you know, the funny thing is it can't be metal because these things, when they get metal in the fuel system, they catastrophically explode a bunch of stuff. So we're going to grab a bungee cord to hold the fuel filter lid up, like so. And we're gonna usually ratchet it to something over here, which I'm gonna use this oxygen sensor because that's what it's designed for. Kind of do that number and then come over here and go off like the, not like a fuel rail. Let's see. So there you go. Holds it up. Now I'm gonna go find the sucking tool. Just half full of oil. We still got transmission stuff to do, but we gotta put oil in it and run it. And I'm trying to just maximize my efficiency by doing everything I can do while I'm down here, so. Here we are. Make sure she's sucking. Stick her in here. And I'll go get you, let's get the camera over here so you can see it actually will suck this stuff right out. And I kind of have a feeling they know something's going on these. As you can see, I'll suck all that right up like a vacuum cleaner. And get all that sediment off the bottom. And it's probably related to kind of diesel bug, I think. Yeah, it's kind of got like you can kind of see it has like a slimy texture to it. So we're gonna suck all that down there real nice. Try to get the focus. Try to get all that down there. Yeah, this is probably algae. This car did sit for a little while under Dieselgate. And unless you really know what to look for, you know, you won't see it. So I'll put you guys back over here. I'm going to turn off my sucker for now. And I'm going to re-glove. This is the only thing I'm going to use a non-lubricant on. So I got BG here. I'm going to use their spray lube kind of liberally on this thing, which is the filter, which has the cutest little handle, by the way. Look at this. Little purse. So I'm going to put this on. And you want to really not fudge this up going around the thing. So you got to kind of give it a walk. And then you can kind of get it down in there. Kind of get it over there. Purple guy goes on that little spot on the top, and then that feels like it's all the way on there. Make sure they look about the same. They don't quite look the same. This is PU133. But I guess it is the same. O-ring. Give it a liberal schwitzen. Now you install this on the top here. Which I'm about to find out it's probably the wrong size filter and O-ring would be my bet from the judge that the O-ring doesn't fit. It doesn't fit for Shiza. So now I'm gonna go back in my trash can and say they're both about the same. This one's just a lot softer. This one is not feeling right, but it has to be right. So I'm gonna give the old stretch arena here and see if I can, I can probably roll it maybe? That's what I'll do. I'll flip it over here. And I have a feeling it could also be the wrong O-ring, which if that's the case, it's all the same basic stuff. You just have to know that, what you got going on here. So I'm trying to get it all on here. There we go. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so that's on there. This, again, is as down as far as it's gonna go. And then, so we're gonna take our rubber band off. And then kind of make sure that we line our bolts up. But then again, I don't like how that feels, so we're gonna do this. Stick it back on there. I'm gonna see if I can get this thing off here and back on here again. Let's see. It's coming off. Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's see. This one is a little taller, but not by a ton. they're about the same size top to bottom, so maybe I'm just being a girl. I'm getting that to go on there. I also don't know how far down it's supposed to go. That's kind of the problem sometimes when you work on cars, is like, you know, I literally took the fuel filter out talking to you guys on the camera and completely space cadet it or forgot what this even looked like. So it has some spring load to it in the middle. Let me see if I can maybe get that to... Ooh, I'm gonna stab myself in the hand is what I'm gonna do with this, by the way. I guess it's sealed in there. Oh, the other important part of this. Now this is something we don't offer unless you ask for it, but this is another product they make called Diesel Purge. You saw that greening kind of algae stuff it has. Pour it everywhere like usual. You just pour it directly in the fuel filter so it gets to the fuel rail. All this diesel additive kind of has this unique smell to it, and I don't know what the active, cetane probably is the active ingredient, but they all smell the same. And it's not a terrible smell. I like the smell better than regular diesel, but okay. So we're going to change glove again. We're gonna grab our bolts and try to get some of them started, because it is kind of a little bit of ways, which is kind of mildly concerning to me. I feel like it should go all the way in there. So before I lose 4 bolts, I'm gonna take those out again. And I'm gonna grab like a bluntish object, aka some plier handles. I'm gonna do my little holder again so I don't get that everywhere, and then I'm gonna try to get this little push down without taking a face full of it, which I'll probably do both of, so we'll see. I mean, it goes down, so it must be the right one. It's a lot harder, but to be fair, I don't remember the last time I've done one of these. So we're gonna try to get them all kind of started by hand. And then we're going to grab our